Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to What's the Deal, your go-to channel for breaking down the latest trending topics and controversies. Today, we're tackling a question that's raising eyebrows and health concerns across the US. What's the deal with banned chemicals in our food supply? Now, this might surprise you. Certain chemicals that are completely banned in Europe and other parts of the world are still making their way into American foods. From preservatives to artificial colors and even pesticides, these chemicals can be found in everything from packaged snacks to fresh produce. And as more research connects them to health risks, people are starting to ask, why are they still allowed here? In this video, we'll dive into which chemicals are banned elsewhere, why they're still legal in the US, and what experts have to say about potential health effects. Plus, we'll cover what you can do to avoid these chemicals if you're concerned about keeping your food choices clean. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep this conversation going. Let's kick things off by exploring why certain chemicals are allowed in the US food supply but are banned in many other countries. Generally, food additives, preservatives, and processing chemicals are used to extend shelf life, enhance flavor, and improve appearance. However, the US Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and European Union, EU, differ significantly in their approaches to food safety. While the FDA focuses on establishing safe limits for chemicals, the EU leans toward precaution, banning chemicals outright if there's potential risk. One reason for the disparity lies in how each region regulates food safety. In the US, food additives and chemicals are governed under the Generally Recognized as Safe (GRAS) rule. This means that if an additive has been deemed safe based on previous studies or general consensus, companies can use it without direct FDA approval. Critics argue this creates gaps in oversight, potentially allowing harmful substances to slip into the food supply, especially as new research emerges linking some of these substances to health concerns like cancer, hormone disruption, and behavioral changes. In contrast, the EU's precautionary principle holds that if there's any doubt about a substance's safety, it should be restricted or banned. Chemicals like potassium bromate and BHA, butylated hydroxyanisole, for example, are banned in Europe due to cancer concerns but are still found in certain US products. The EU's strict standards for chemicals, particularly those shown to affect hormones or increase cancer risks, have led to outright bans on several additives and pesticides that remain in use stateside. The issue is gaining more attention in the US, where lawmakers, scientists, and activists are calling for a regulatory overhaul to bring US standards closer to those of other developed nations. Just recently, California introduced a landmark bill banning 5 food additives, including red dye number 3, which has been linked to hyperactivity in children and is already banned in the EU. In this video, we'll explore which chemicals remain in US foods despite bans elsewhere, the controversy surrounding their continued use, and what it means for consumers. So let's dive deeper into the science, the legal battles, and what's at stake when it comes to our food safety. Now that we've set the stage, let's dig into some of the most controversial chemicals still found in US foods. Each of these has faced scrutiny for potential health risks, from cancer and hormone disruption to behavioral effects in children. So why are they still allowed in our food supply? Let's break it down. 1. Potassium bromate. The bread improver. Potassium bromate is used to strengthen dough, allowing bread to rise higher and giving it that fluffy texture. While it might sound harmless, potassium bromate has been linked to cancer in animal studies. The EU, Canada, and many other countries have banned it, but it remains legal in the US under certain conditions. Although the FDA recommends that potassium bromate be used sparingly and fully baked out of products, studies suggest trace amounts still remain in some finished baked goods, raising concerns over long-term exposure. 2. BHA and BHT, the synthetic antioxidants. BHA, butylated hydroxyanisole, and BHT, butylated hydroxytoluene, are synthetic preservatives commonly used to keep oils from going rancid in processed foods like cereals, chips, and baked goods. These chemicals help extend shelf life, but studies have linked them to cancer and hormone disruption. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies BHA as a possible human carcinogen, and the EU has banned BHA in foods altogether. In the US, however, BHA and BHT remain legal in low doses, though more people are choosing to avoid them. prompting some brands to eliminate them voluntarily. 3. Artificial food dyes. Colourful yet controversial artificial dyes, especially red dye number 3, yellow number 5 and yellow number 6, are some of the most controversial additives found in everything from candies to cereals to sodas. These dyes are used for their bright colours, but some studies link them to hyperactivity in children and even certain cancers. The EU requires warning labels on products containing these dyes, while red dye number 3 is outright banned there. In the US, red dye number 3 is restricted but not entirely banned, although California's new law aims to change that. Parents and health advocates argue that artificial colours aren't worth the risk, especially when natural alternatives are available. 4. Brominated vegetable oil, BVO. The drink stabilizer BVO, used as a stabilizer in some citrus-flavoured sodas and sports drinks, keeps the drink's ingredients from separating. But BVO contains bromine, which is also found in flame retardants, raising concerns about its effects on the thyroid and reproductive health. BVO has been banned in Europe and Japan, but it's still found in some US drinks. Research suggests it can build up in fatty tissues, causing side effects like memory loss, nerve problems, and skin rashes with high exposure. 5. RBGH and RBST. The dairy hormones recombinant bovine growth hormone, RBGH, and recombinant bovine somatotropin, RBST, are synthetic hormones given to cows to boost milk production. The use of these hormones has been banned in Canada, the EU, and other countries due to concerns about the potential for higher cancer risks in humans and animal welfare issues. While the FDA deems milk from treated cows safe, studies show that milk from RBGH-treated cows contains higher levels of a hormone called IGF-1, which has been associated with an increased risk of certain cancers. Many consumers have turned to organic or hormone-free milk as a precaution. So why are these chemicals still here? Despite mounting evidence and consumer pushback, the US regulatory framework allows these chemicals largely because of the generally recognized as safe GREE-ES rule, which lets companies self-regulate on many ingredients without requiring updated FDA review. Additionally, the FDA's position often focuses on safe exposure levels, allowing trace amounts that companies argue pose no immediate threat. However, critics argue that the cumulative exposure to these chemicals over time can lead to significant health impacts, especially for vulnerable groups like children. What do studies show? Scientific studies continue to reveal risks associated with these chemicals. For example, a recent study found that children exposed to artificial dyes like yellow number 5 and red dye number 40 showed increased hyperactivity. Similarly, potassium bromate and BHA have both been linked to oxidative stress in cells, a precursor to cancer. Health experts warn that even at low levels, these chemicals can accumulate in the body, where they may interfere with hormone systems and DNA repair mechanisms, potentially leading to chronic health issues over time. Environmental impact and the push for change. Aside from health concerns, the production and disposal of these chemicals have environmental consequences. For instance, BVO and artificial dyes are petroleum-based, and their manufacturing can lead to environmental pollution. Increased awareness about these issues has led to advocacy groups, such as the Environmental Working Group, calling for a ban or stricter regulations on these chemicals. California's recent legislation banning red dye number 3 and other additives marks a significant step, and it could set the stage for broader changes nationwide. How can consumers protect themselves? If you're concerned about these chemicals, there are steps you can take. Checking ingredient labels and opting for products without artificial colors, preservatives, or processed additives is a good start. More companies now advertise clean label products free from artificial ingredients, making it easier to find safer alternatives. Organic certification also means a product is free from many synthetic additives, including RBGH and RBST in dairy products. Apps like EWG's Food Scores can help identify products that meet these standards, empowering consumers to make informed choices. To make these issues more concrete, let's look at some popular foods where these banned chemicals can show up and what alternatives are available. 1. Breads and baked goods. Potassium bromate. In many mainstream breads and bakery products, potassium bromate is used to improve texture and volume. Brands like certain commercial bread companies and even some grocery store bakeries may use this additive, though some health-conscious brands avoid it altogether. If you're looking to dodge potassium bromate, check the ingredient list or look for organic or certified non-GMO breads, which often avoid these chemicals. 2. Processed snacks and cereals, BHA and BHT. Popular cereals, chips and snacks often contain BHA and BHT as preservatives to maintain freshness. Brands like Fruit Loops and Cheez-It have used these additives, though public pressure has led some companies to phase them out. Healthier snack alternatives like organic brands or products labelled preservative-free are widely available, though they may have a shorter shelf life. 3. Colourful candies and sodas. Artificial dyes. You'll find artificial colours like red dye number 3 and yellow number 5 in candies, sodas and even flavoured yogurts. Skittles, Mountain Dew and certain kids' cereals are just a few examples. In response to consumer demand, some brands now offer dye-free versions of their products using natural colour sources like beet juice or turmeric. 4. Citrus-flavoured drinks. Brominated vegetable oil, or BVO. Some citrus drinks and sports drinks, like Mountain Dew and certain energy drinks, contain BVO as a stabiliser. Alternatives like organic sodas or homemade citrus-infused drinks offer BO-free options. 5. Dairy products, RBGH and RBST. While many dairy producers have stopped using these growth hormones, some brands of milk and cheese may still contain RBGH and RBST. Look for dairy products labelled RBGH-free or hormone-free, or choose organic options, which prohibit these hormones altogether. These examples show how these chemicals appear in everyday foods and offer a glimpse of the alternatives available for those looking to avoid them. So, what's the takeaway from all this? The presence of banned chemicals in the US food supply highlights the importance of being aware of what we're eating and understanding the impact it can have on our health. While some argue these chemicals are safe in small amounts, growing research and consumer advocacy are putting pressure on the food industry to clean up its act. And with states like California taking steps to ban certain additives, we might see nationwide changes in the near future. Ultimately, making informed choices, whether it's reading ingredient labels, choosing organic options, or supporting brands that avoid these additives, empowers us as consumers. Change can start with individual choices, and as more people demand safer, cleaner products, companies and regulators may respond accordingly. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the trends that shape our lives. We want to hear your thoughts too. Are you concerned about banned chemicals in your food, and what steps do you take to avoid them? Drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation going.